welcome back to Mind, Body, Energy. This is Carol. Welcome to part 2 of my spiritual journey. If you haven't watched part 1, go ahead, watch part 1 so that you get some context. Or it's just good to see things one by one, maybe. Alright, so part 2 of my spiritual journey starts when it just was a turning point in my life. From 6th standard to the 7th standard journey, from primary to high school shift. So around 7th class, I shifted to a new high school. It was very different from my primary school. I was facing a lot of difficulties adjusting there. Around that time, my I visited my family hometown, and I was sleeping, and I got a dream in my maternal grandparents' house. And this dream was that it's a very funny story made in my dream that, my nana or my maternal grandfather eats this chicken, and this chicken gets alive inside him, and um, somehow he dies, and his dead body is kept in the main hall with a white sheet on top, and everyone's around. And I wake up a little panicked, thinking that is my grandfather okay, maternal grandfather okay. And mind you, before this dream, I've never seen any family. For this dream, I have never seen any death in my family, so I wouldn't have known what rituals are there, how it is, and everything. Okay, so I wake up and I tell this dream to, I guess, my uncle or somebody. I don't remember who, probably my mother. Somebody I did share this dream with. I genuinely don't remember after this dream, was it a one year or 1 month? But my nani or my grandmother, maternal grandmother, had dementia, and it was getting worse as the day goes. And I think she had a fall, so she had surgery. I'm not too sure about that, but she was back in the hometown. We were back in the capital, and I remember that it was a critical situation for my grandmother, and I saw a candle burning because the electricity went out, which was very funny. And the same night, the electricity went out. It was raining heavily. The dogs were barking, and we are in the capital. This was back in hometown where my nani was. And what happened was there was candle that was burning, and while I was looking at the candle, I was praying that it doesn't go off, because for some reason, metaphorically, it meant for me that my grandmother would also pass away. But the candle did go off, and we did get a call that she has passed away, and this was the first death. Now, what happens is we travel to the hometown, and remember my dream. I saw this happening. Instead of my grandfather that I dreamt about, it was my grandmother's dead body, which was in the same way kept in the main hall, which was bizarre to me because I couldn't have known if there would have been any sort of things in our family where they would keep what and everything. So that was the first unsettling thing that happened that I sort of knew about. So my grandmother passed away, and the funeral was very weird to me. I was getting this laughter. I was I just could not stop laughing, um, and I told this to my uncle, which is my mamu, that I cannot stop laughing. I don't know why. I was like trying to hold it back. Nobody saw me doing it. Um, but as soon as we carried the body to the cremation ground, to the graveyard, um, we I saw everyone crying, and then my emotions went out. I sobbed and sobbed and sobbed, couldn't stop crying. So that was my first experience of death in a family. It was very weird. Even though my grandmother had dementia for a while, we didn't have that connection, but I still had connection growing up with her and everything. Now, a year later, my paternal grandmother passes away, and a year later, my paternal grandfather passes away. And it was quite bizarre. In like 3 years, 4 years, we lost three people in our lives who were very important. And during this time, something weird started happening. I'm in high school. Probably at this time, I'll be like 8th, ninth, perhaps 10th. I'm not too sure about timelines. But by this time, um, I have gotten some grip in high school, which was not great. Academically, I dropped. Um, and I was very angry at my own self because I used to think I was a bright kid. I couldn't understand what's happening. Why am I dropping so bad? All this was happening. I was trying to escape school by involving myself in arts so that I stay in the basement with my teachers. Now I'm involved in the arts, and somewhere there is this transition. This is I believe around 10th standard, 3 years after like 7th, right? Now I see this shift where now this can also be psychological because of my family background. I has have always been alert and picking up on emotional cues. Maybe that's why it happened. So I kind of had this glimpse of what someone is about to say because it happened with one person. I clearly knew what they were exactly thinking, and they did the action. And I was very taken aback because it was the first time I understood what this person is feeling and thinking and would probably act that way, and they did. It was a jealousy that I picked upon, and they acted like that. It might be nothing to you right now, but it was a very huge moment for me because I picked up on that. During the same time, I started saying weird shit to people, like weird things to people. I joined this dance class and I started going to like, it felt like activation of intuition, activation of, I don't know, when I reflect back, I think it might be because so many deaths happened in the family. Perhaps the all the grandparents' spirits were maybe helping my intuition or guiding me through. Because what started happening to it, I started feeling things a little. I just went up to this person in my dance class and said that I know there's a very deep, dark secret. Now, yes, technically you can go and say that to anyone and they would have a deep, dark secret. But it was not my intention that this thing I wouldn't have thought that, okay, I wouldn't have even think that, okay, everyone has a deep, dark secret, so let me just go around, just say it for fun. No, I know my like intentions were not really like that, but there was a voice, there was a guide, so I just went to the person, I said it. And that person took me aside and they were like, yes, I do have a very dark thing. And they told me about it. It involved crime, it involved, um, guns. Generally, I have forgotten the story, what they said, but these few things I remember. I don't remember the whole story that they told me. But they saw me as a kid, they thought me, they were someone very close, so they trusted me with it. So it was very funny because, again, it was a taken aback moment. Maybe that person was holding on to that as a guilt and they were not speaking to anyone, but they were able to speak to me, whatever it may be. Now, what started happening towards the end of high school, I really wanted to go abroad. Really wanted to go abroad and pursue my degree. And in the 12th standard now, um, okay, by this time actually in the 10th standard, it was funny. I was introduced to Nam Myo Horenge Kyo from another dance friend of mine who we have age gap, so he was very old. And he was just introduced me to that. I did not know by that time it was a Buddhist philosophy. I don't know exactly what it is now, I've forgotten. Um, I was introduced to that in the 10th standard, around 10th, 11th standard, and I didn't pay much attention, but that person was very into all of it. Um, it is probably 11th standard because in the 11th standard, through my psychology teacher, I was introduced to the secret law of attraction. The book, she gave us assignments to do on that, which was very intriguing thing for me. But during that time, I didn't pay much attention about spirituality or anything else. I was always interested in reading my horoscope. I was always that person. I was always interested in palm reading. I did go to a palm reader once and he told me that yes, you'll go abroad, and I was very happy. I remember I was jumping with joy and telling my parents and looking at my parents, who probably thought that it's not true. Um, but I was always that kid who was interested in astrology, who was interested in reading my own horoscope, people around me's horoscope, as that person. So, what happens now is that during this time, I also realized one thing with me. I thought that the Bollywood and I have a connection. Why? So, what used to happen was that something would happen in the Bollywood that was parallel to my life. Two examples. First one was I had a really great crush on this guy in my locality, and he suddenly started calling me rock and roll because it's Carol is like rock and roll. He just started like making me annoying me, but it was cute for me because I had a crush on him. And similar timeline, the song Rock and Roll Sorry um, popped up, and I felt that there is a connection between Bollywood and I. Then, second time, I think somebody suggested me this name, Chris, and that's what I named my brother Chris. And the same time, during the similar time, same time, the Krish movie popped up. So I always had this thing that, okay, I think there's a connection. Now, what happens in 12th standard is being me, I wanted to go abroad. My parents were not supporting me at that time, so I found my own agent and I was applying through them. During the process, I convinced my parents, so they were supportive then. I had to give this exam called IELTS, It's an English exam to go to UK. And what happened was, being in just 17, 18-year old with limited research and more excitement to go abroad, I didn't read this thing that a written exam and oral exam happens in different days, on different days. So what happened was, I gave my written exam, and I was still seeing this IELTS poster everywhere, whether it was metro, whether it was some locality in Delhi. I went to Sonipat's village. Um, there also I'm seeing IELTS, 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 and standing out to me. It's like symbols, signs, and I'm like, okay. I didn't pay much attention, but I noticed. I definitely noticed. Now, what happens? I get this email that you have missed your oral exam of IELTS. And I realized it. Then that was like aha moment where I realized universe is talking to me. I cannot explain you, but for me that point was, no, I have to listen when things are standing out, because those are important. I did not know the term sign, I did not know the term symbols, I did not know the term synchronicity, patterns. No, for me it was just like, something is talking to me, I need to listen, because it's for my benefit only. And perhaps that was the Bollywood story as well, but here it was more personalized. So that was the, again, coming in a transition period from me moving from India to going to UK. So yeah, that is the story of the second part of my life in terms of spirituality. Um, yeah, there was not really any ghost story in this one, but tune in, because most of the ghost story starts now in the part 3. I'll see you next time. Make sure you interact with this post so that I feel motivated to record. I recorded part 1 and part 2 today only. I am drained. If I'll get motivation to record part 3, then some other day I'm going to record part 3. Until next time, take care. Bye bye.